The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Oh, yeah. Welcome, everyone, to this edition of No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We're presented proudly by the Belly Up Sports Media Network. My name's Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of the hosts. To my right is a man we found out his middle initial is K. Please welcome Dustin Kobe Henry. Dustin, how are you doing today?
You nailed it. I'm doing all right. I'm surprised you never figured out the old middle initial is K, but I do keep the middle name classified.
I think I know what it is, but
you probably remember.
I probably remember, but I won't say it to dox you because I was like, we don't dox on this program.
No, we do not. But I'm really excited to get and chop it up here. I'm sure Ryan will announce it later, but this is our last show before a little break, and I can't think of a better way to go out. I'm real excited to get into it tonight.
Neither can I. And we'll get into it in just a moment. But before we do so, let's tell people we can find our show on social media, which is right down here below. Twitter, Instagram, and the scarcely used TikTok at NoCredsREQ, Facebook.com/NoCredsREQ, YouTube.com/@NoCredsREQ. If you're watching tomorrow on Rumble at 8 a.m. Eastern, we appreciate you stopping by. But don't forget to please go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe to all of our social media channels, which are listed right down here below. On the audio side, subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Good Pods, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, wherever you podcast. Rate and review. A 5-star rating would be really, really great. And if you're on a platform where you can review the podcast, we appreciate it. We might even read it on the air. And because we're a live show most Tuesdays, but we switched up to Wednesday because Dustin had a prior commitment, and that's okay. As long as he let me know ahead of time, it's all good. But because we're a live show, we want you to engage with the show. We want your comments. And even though it's the last time we're going to hear it for a couple weeks, let's break it out. Let's break out that trusty music that we all know and love.
I always wait for it.
All right, we're going to bring in our guest, and tonight we are joined by one half of the number one rated afternoon drive show, Levac and Goz. He is my good friend, he's my good friend. I call him my good friend. Why not? He's maxing and relaxing. He is Tom Goslowski. Goz, how are we doing tonight?
Hello. Two things quickly. I'm paying homage to my co-host Levac for those from the Capital Region. He had a segment called Views from the Couch. I've now decided all podcast interviews will be done like this. I feel like an old philosopher. Second, I almost feel offended. Was there questioning of our friendship there? Is he a friend? Is he not my friend? What have I done to you, Ryan McCarthy, in the last 90 seconds to question our friendship? My gosh.
Well, hold on. I forgot your other half is not here because sometimes I say I call Levac my friend. I don't know if he calls me his friend. So
of course he does.
Okay. All right. I feel a lot more secure knowing that now.
What about me? I'm not concerned about his friendship with you. I'm concerned about my friendship with you.
I'll make sure next time I see you, I'll make sure you get a McCarthy hug.
Okay, that's all I want. Thank you.
But how are we doing? How are we doing tonight?
I'm doing fine now that my friendships are being questioned. I've gotten over it quickly. I'm doing well. I'm very happy to be on No Credentials Required. I was being quite the diva not being on this weekend, but you guys have made time for me. I appreciate that. I'm honored to be back on the show. I'm looking forward to a lot of things we got to talk about on the summer finale on No Credentials Required. Is that what we're calling this? The summer finale?
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Yeah,
Call it the summer
loosely.
finale.
Yeah.
Why not?
We could do it. We
Okay.
could do it because the next time we're back, we're going to be talking, NFL.
Yeah, that's true.
Summer solstice. We're taking a break.
Yes, and
That's
this
what we
is
can call it.
and actually this is podcast episode number 199.
Oh,
When we come back,
Whoa.
it'll be we'll move the needle to 200.
Congratulations, guys. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
oh,
I'm not
thank
counting,
you.
Thank you. I'm not counting other things like the morning cup and the happy hour and 10 good minutes as part of canon. But this is part of canon. So
Are you
But
Dr.
well-
Doom in this scenario? Are you Iron Man? Is that
yes, we are totally
RDJ.
we are whitewashing the Avengers, okay?
Oh man, coming with some heat, Ryan. To
Well,
start
look,
the show.
look. Okay, I did my homework. I listened to the first 2/3 of today's Levac and God show, and
The
you
first
guys,
2/3.
you guys got into the. Well, I do my lessons on Duolingo. Okay, and I had to make dinner too. So,
Yes.
but I listened to Levac's rant about going down a Reddit rabbit hole. By the way, Levac, avoid them because Reddit is a wretched hive of scum and butthurtery. Okay, don't go down that rabbit hole. Don't go down there.
You can, I don't have an account, but I do lurk sometimes. There's some good information about, smoking meats on there, and then, sometimes I like to keep up.
Is that a euphemism?
With the PS5 sub, and people take pictures of their Fender Stratocasters, but you got to be very selective with your Reddit lanes. I do agree with you.
I see what Dustin's into. He's into guitar porn. That's what he's into.
I do love a Fender Stratocaster. I got one right over there off screen. That's one of my assignments is eventually get some stuff behind me, because multiple people have been like, Ryan looks like he has a setup. You look like a serial killer. And I'm like, all right.
Not really. I mean, we took the shelves down. We moved the shelves out, and now I have I mean, that may be one project I'll be doing during our hiatus. Is maybe you might see me rearrange the study and might have a new setup. You never know.
Oh, here we go. All bets are off.
Yeah.
The tease. I am such a tease. I've been called a tease before.
Oh,
But
man.
let's get into, speaking of not teasing, let's get into Hard Knocks off-season finale. I have it fresh in my mind because I watched it about an hour or so ago. I have it fresh in my mind. I actually abstained from listening to Levac and Guys our segment 1 today because I wanted to talk to guys straight up about it, and also talk to you as well, Dustin. I don't know about you. I was in suspense about who they're going to take at number 6 in the draft.
Oh, I
How
couldn't
dare
believe
you?
it.
That is my joke. It's very easy to use. Everyone's allowed to use it. It's such an easy. I call it a cannonball of sarcasm that still works and still funny.
Well, I was actually thinking that, and guys, shout out to Jake Asman, who I'm a big fan of. Jake Asman, he's
Our boy. He's a New York Jets content creator. There was this inside joke about Knoble from college during the draft, but the Jets were going to draft him, and all these guys, the Asmaniacs, as they call it, were calling in from local New York shows and saying, "What about this kid named Knoble from college?" And this meme of a guy of like this little skinny kid with one of those leather helmets on. And actually somebody showed up at Jets camp with a Knoble jersey.
Oh, that's good. That's good. You got to do that.
That's commitment. But I want to get your guys' opinions about the offseason finale, the Hard Knocks offseason finale at the New York Giants. Guys, you're our guest. Let's start with you. What were your, I don't say what biggest takeaways, but were you a fan of the offseason thing? Were you kind of skeptical of what they were going to do, about the formatting? What was your opinion about this 5-week series, which actually it's pretty great that we moved the show to Wednesday because we get to talk about it tonight. And last night was the season finale.
I love this season of Hard Knocks. I believe this season of Hard Knocks should be in the discussion as one of the greatest seasons of Hard Knocks history. This is probably in the conversation with the inaugural season with the Ravens in 2001. This is in the conversation with the Jets and Rex Ryan and all the greats. Because here's why it's the best. Because when we go way back in history, and Ryan, you may have heard this take. Dustin, it might be the first time you're hearing this take I give about Hard Knocks. Like when it first became popular in the early 2000s, remember, it was when Survivor as a TV show was taken off and Big Brother was taken off and The Real World. So they wanted to like, what happens when people stop being polite and start getting real? Like they wanted that vibe for Hard Knocks. And it was like, that's what if you go back and watch season 1 of Hard Knocks, that's what it is. It's raw, uncut, it's uncensored. We've never seen this before. And whether it's people learning about new information about sports or movies or PlayStation 5 Reddit streams, like we all truly do have a thirst to know something we don't know. We all want to find out information. Like, oh, I want to tell my friends and family and buddies. Like that's human nature. Mm-hmm. What makes this Hard Knocks season so great is we never had this ever before. We've never had an in-season Hard Knocks. So every episode, I'm like, I don't know what to expect. Mm-hmm. I didn't know the Giants almost took this guy. I didn't know Brian Daboll acted like. That's what Hard Knocks always was great at, because the world's changed in 20 years. It was getting a little stale. Like everybody, like you're a Jet fan, Ryan. Like you know what in Jets drive. That's basically Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
But this off-season stuff was so intriguing, so interesting, so different. I loved this season for the Giants. I loved Hard Knocks in this new style.
Dustin, what's your take on this episode? What did the series leave you? How did this series leave you feeling? Could it work for next year?
I think it should become a staple moving forward. I have to agree with our esteemed guest here. I'm in the can for this because I love the draft stuff. You know, my uncle was telling me, and he's a Giants fan, and he goes, I'm not really watching it because the draft. The draft, I care about in-season football. And I'm kind of like, what? How do you not care who your team's taking? You know, how do you not want to learn more about this? Because I was in from the jump for every single thing. And I will say, this was my least favorite episode. And it's probably because the draft was already spoiled. We knew who they were going to take. So when they tried to build suspense in those moments, it didn't really land for me. However, what I still was mystified by and continue to be enraptured in this show about is that everything that they thought was going to happen pretty much happened. Mm-hmm. And then it shows them they go back 7 hours prior to the draft or whatever, that round of the draft, when both corners that they were eyeing got taken, and they said, okay, scenario, both corners get taken. Are we going with the safety? And guess what? They took the safety. It was they planned for everything. And that really, I mean, I always knew the amount of preparation. You always hear about the amount of preparation and the research and the smoke screens that teams put up to fool each other and all that. But the Giants researched it all, and they ended up being right. I go back to that clip from last episode where Joe Shane says Arizona, that general manager's serious about Marvin Jones Jr., and I don't think he's going to screw around. I censored it for our show, but he's like, I don't think he's going to screw around. They're staying there and they're going to pick. And they were right. You know, that is what continues to mystify me. And then I'm with Goz here. I didn't know that the Jets called them and tried to move up. I didn't know that the Colts tried to put a deal that we only see an edited version, but it didn't look like Chris Ballard had anything that Joe Shane and the Giants were interested in. But that's what I continue to be interested in about this show, and I want it to come back next year. I hope it does. And like I said last episode, I want it to be with Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys, because I want it to be Jerry continually telling his general manager, whoever puppet he's got, whether it's his son Steven, I want to see them fighting. I want to see Jerry just override all his football people and pick whoever he wants. It'll be ridiculous.
I want to see Jerry Jones put salt on his Egg McMuffin. That's what I want to see. I'll give you my take. I actually enjoyed this episode. I wouldn't say it's the best of the series. I actually kind of enjoyed the last episode. All the prep work they did before they brought in they actually made the selections. if you haven't watched it, the Colts did call first, although I don't know if they call first really. But here's the thing that I'm curious to see. Unless you actually know who you're going to pick first, they always bleed the clock. And you finally see why they bleed the clock. They bleed the clock because they want to see if they can get any other offers from other teams. And we saw what they did. What happened? We saw the Colts call. Chris Ballard called. Hey, it's Chris Ballard from the Indianapolis Colts. How you doing, Joe? Like, yeah, they offered us 15, 42, and next year's second to move up to number 6. And it's like, no, that's not enough. Then you saw the Jets call. I'm like, hey, my guy, Joe Douglas, Trader Joe, always making deals. But they never expressed what they were offering. It's not like they had much to offer anyway, because they didn't have a second round pick in this year's draft. The Jets didn't have a second round pick. That went to the Packers in the Aaron Rodgers deal. So we don't know what Joe Douglas was offering Joe Shane to move up to 6. I would love to have been a bug in the room to hear what Joe Douglas was offering Joe Shane. Maybe we'll find out on One Jets Drive. I don't know if it's out there or not, but they went up trading down. Jets went up trading down, swapping picks with the Vikings, trading down to 11, getting Olu Fashanu, which apparently he's having a great camp so far. No, knock on wood. But I like the behind the scenes stuff. Like, all right, we got our guy. We're all juiced up. Can't sleep the next night. All right, let's go to night 2. See what happens in the second and third round. It's like, all right, we're gonna see if these 2 guys are on the board. All right, they're off the board. Excuse me, didn't want to cough in anybody's ear. It says, all right, we didn't get Kool-Aid McKinstry. My sister's watching it with me. She goes, his name is Kool-Aid McKinstry. I go, yeah. and she says, did her parents hate him? Did his parents hate him? I'm like, no.
You got to tell her about the St. Louis Rams legend, Yo Murphy. Does anybody else remember Yo Murphy?
I remember.
Oh,
so
man.
they didn't get the guys they wanted, so they went out picking the kid from Minnesota. Then they went out picking the kid from Kentucky. And they went out getting they got the kid from Penn State as tight end. They got one more linebacker, and they said, you know what, we're done. But at the end, all right, we're now going to the offseason. We're now going to move on we're going to move on to camp. And they showed a little bit of OTAs, the interception, the Daniel Jones. Obviously they didn't show Daniel Jones throwing that awful football in practice he had earlier this week. I don't know if you guys saw that online.
I did not see that.
It was ghastly. But it was one throw. It was one throw out of however many throws he's having at camp so far. It was very early in camp. So, but yeah, it was just really interesting to see. All right, we can't get quarterback. We can't move up. We're certainly not going to move back. Let's wait and see. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So we'll have to see what the Giants do with Malik Neighbors coming into training camp, coming into the season, what kind of work they're going to do. I know, guys, you and Levac talked about it in length about what the Giants are going to do. Or you think, I don't say that you think the Giants are going to do, but we kind of see, all right, we got to move on from Saquon Barkley. We got to look at other positions. So, the Malik Neighbors pick, I was kind of, like I said, they were looking at one of 2 guys. Marvin Harrison was off the board by the time they were picking, and Robodunze was still there. They're looking both at Malik and at Robodunze. They liked them both, but they went up going with Neighbors. So, couple other observations. The bling that Malik Neighbors had, that giant necklace. I had to look closer. I'm like, does that say X? I'm like, no, it's Leek. Leek. I'm like, guy loves to cook.
I guess so.
That's it. Yes.
Guy loves to cook. And I was noticing on some of the tablets and the laptops that were in the war room, had the old school Microsoft screensavers. Do they look CGI'd to you?
I didn't notice that, but now I have to go back and rewatch the episode because if Clippy makes a cameo, I'm going to lose it.
Oh, Clippy.
I also didn't notice that. I kind of wish Clippy did make an episode appearance now. I'm guessing, and this is just from like what we've seen in past Hard Knocks, that might have been, I know we joked around CGI. They may have done that to block something. Because I know social media saw this cut of like the color-coded draft board. Yep. So I wonder if they're like, we can only show so much and no one's going to notice this. And then you caught it. So I'm guessing, but that seems to make sense.
Yeah. And they blurred out a bunch of stuff. They blurred out a bunch of the player profile pages, except for the block of their picture and their name. They also had blurred out the television that they were watching I presume it was the NFL Network's draft coverage on the big screen.
Yeah. And it's funny because they didn't blur out like ESPN's coverage of certain things. Right. It was interesting to see what they showed versus what they didn't show. But yeah, most times, if I remember when they were writing things on the whiteboard or whatever, certain things they showed, like when they were breaking down the potential Saquon deal with Saquon's agent, and then they ended up blurring out a bunch of other stuff that was written on the whiteboard. So it's interesting to see what they kept versus what they cut out. But Gaz's explanation makes sense to me. No tinfoil hat needed on this one.
No tinfoil hat required. But yeah, well, Dustin, you make a great point about who. That was going to be my next question to you guys. Who would you want to see featured in Hard Knocks offseason next year? And guys, I'll start with you. If there's one team you kind of want to see, and who do you want to see next year, depending on what kind of year they have and what they'll do?
Dustin's answer was so good about the Cowboys. I mean, I don't think I can get anything better than Dallas, because it would be just as fun if we started it now and like had a season-long thing because of Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott. Like, I don't even know if there's a close second. I'm willing to hear other teams, but there was so much, as you mentioned, the Jerry Jones storyline, overriding it, raw foot. Dallas would be a team now that might just say, screw it, HBO, we're going to do it ourselves. Like, and they'd get it. They'd get views. So I think it's Dallas and then everybody else. I love the Cowboy pick.
So I have a couple thoughts.
All right.
On which teams for next year. I think I mentioned it either last week or 2 weeks ago. I would love to see the Carolina Panthers because I want to see what kind of a tyrant David Tepper is.
Wait a second. You know he's not letting that. The edit on the Panther one would be almost as bad as the Hard Knocks Jets edit when Rodgers went a whole episode without throwing an incomplete. No, Ryan. No, David Tepper.
Yes.
Oh, if I can be raw and unedited, I'm with you. I think it's too edited.
I want to see him throw a drink at his GM.
Yeah, but like I said, because I do think that's an interesting pick. It'd be like picking the Commanders if Snyder was still the owner, because he would be another one. Because
that would be another one interesting one too. They weren't on my radar, but that would be a very interesting one.
Yeah, he was such a dumpster fire. But your point about that Carolina owner is well taken. But we already got a glimpse of it, because remember, Joe Shane, he's calling his buddy, the GM of the Panthers. He's trying to get that Brian Burns trade done. And what does the GM tell him? He says, I'm waiting on the owner. That right there shows you how it is.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of foreshadowing because of who their GM is. It's Dan Morgan. Dan Morgan and Joe Shane are good buddies. So like I said, I would have loved to have been a fly in the room for that conversation for when the Burns trade goes down. But here's the thing with the NFL, like with Hard Knocks, aren't teams I would say contractually obligated, but they have to feature at least do the rotation, right? If you miss the off season or you miss the postseason, you have to do a Hard Knocks, or you're eligible to do a Hard Knocks. With the Jets last year, Hard Knocks was basically the Aaron Rodgers storyline. How is he going to adjust living in New York? How is he going to adjust to his new team? What kind of atmosphere is he going to bring to the team? And from what I saw, and again, it could be just because it's heavily edited, you seem like everybody liked Aaron Rodgers. But that's one of the reasons why I want Carolina, is because I want to see what kind of tight-fisted operation that David Tepper has, who he's going to bring in, who he's going to threaten to bring in as a GM and coach during the offseason, because you know it's going to happen. He's gone through, 7 or 8 coaches and GMs since he became owner of the team in 2015.
Yeah, Frank Reich was the latest casualty, I believe.
Frank Reich
right?
was the latest casualty, yeah. But another one I would like to see is the New England Patriots. We haven't seen them in Hard Knocks for a while, and this is a team that has been that's rebuilding, and they've been featured on Hard Knocks before. They were featured in 2010, 11, I think.
I don't know. I'll
For
have to go back and look.
for the training camp. I'll do the research.
The real-time research.
Real-time research.
But did anybody see the advertisement during the show or after the show? It was Liev Schreiber, and he goes, "Hard Knocks doesn't stop." Football doesn't stop, and neither does Hard Knocks. The in-season Hard Knocks is going to be the entire NFC North, or AFC North, rather. So that should be interesting, because I don't think they've done multiple teams like that. So what you got? You got the Bengals, Ravens, Steelers, and Browns. That should be interesting, because I think that division is going to be tough. So that's a good pick for in-season, I think. And then I forget who is actually going to be the training camp.
The Chicago Bears.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, with Caleb. Yeah, they gotta be it. They gotta be it. With all those new weapons. I mean, if Caleb Williams busts this year, it's not for the lack of the Bears trying to surround him with talent. I'll give Chicago that.
So I was wrong. New England Patriots have never been featured on Hard Knocks.
I was almost going to say, I think they were asked one time, and Belichick was like, "Nah,
he's not there anymore."
Yeah.
So here's a list of teams who have been in Hard Knocks. Ravens in 2001, they started in 2001. Then the Cowboys, and they skipped 5 years. Chiefs, Cowboys again, Bengals, New York Jets. Nothing in 2011. Dolphins, Bengals, Falcons. You know what got me confused? You know what got me handcuffed? Houston Texans, because I forgot Vince Wilfork went to the Texans. So that's why I got mixed up. LA Rams, Buccaneers, Browns, Raiders. Then we had 2 teams in 2020, Chargers and Rams, because they were both going into SoFi that year.
Yeah.
Cowboys in 21, Colts in season 2021, Detroit Lions in 2022, in season Cardinals for 2022, Jets last year in training camp, Dolphins in season last year. And then this year it's 3 teams: Giants off season, Bears training camp, AFC North in season.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. The AFC North.
I think it'll be the Bengals, because they missed the playoffs last year.
Yeah, I mean, but it is they said AFC North. I thought they said the AFC North. So I didn't read.
Let's see.
I think it's all AFC, 4. I think you're right.
All 4.
Yeah.
So that's going to be AFC North on Wikipedia. So it could be all 4 teams. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be wild. Wild.
Could be wild.
Weird. I mean, looking back at it now, there's been a lot of Cowboys, but it's because they want to pick the chaos. They want to pick, HBO's not sitting there being like, all right, let's pick let's pick a stable organization. No, they want to pick people with question marks going into the season, or a big acquisition or whatever. So they want something that the people will tune in for. And the levels of Jerry Jones dysfunction will be something that I will take great pleasure in. I don't hide it.
None of us do. Unless you're a Cowboys fan. Although Cowboys fans like the chaos too, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Not like Raiders fans. Raiders fans back in the day, they're like, our team will never be good until Al dies. I'm like, it may be
he's
true.
dead now.
I know.
Yeah.
But I was like,
In the
it may be
playoffs once
true,
since
but they're
then.
so blunt about it. They were just like, he's got to die. I was like, oh, man.
All right. We got to move along to our next topic conversation. The Olympics. I have watched maybe 3 minutes of the Olympics so far. Not that I care, not that I don't care about it. I love the storyline of the US women's rugby team winning their bronze medal match in a walk-off. Guys, I promised I would educate you on rugby today.
I'm ready.
But he's ready. I watched a scant maybe 2 minutes of the USA South Sudan's men's basketball game today. I know 3-on-3 basketball is a big thing because Jimmer Fredette, local guy, he's in the 3-on-3 team for the USA. I believe they lost to Serbia their first game. So, but you know, get the whole Simone Biles thing. She will have her comeback. I mean, there's other stories out there, but guys, I want to get you into the conversation about the Olympics. Have you paid attention or watched any of it so far?
I've watched the Olympics, Ryan, because I'm an American and I support the United States of America. Unlike you, who doesn't have the time for our country and to support these great athletes, this is disgusting.
How dare you question my patriotism, sir?
You've said it. You're too busy with life to support the country.
That's right. I have a life.
Minutes. Good gosh. These people put in 4 years of work and you can't move your thumb to the next channel. I've watched a lot of beach volleyball. My wife is a big beach volleyball fan, so there's been a lot of beach volleyball.
Sure. She's a beach volleyball fan.
She had money on that Cuba match. I'm convinced. Cuba and the USA earlier. It's awesome in front of the Eiffel Tower, so I've watched that.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool back.
Yeah, some hoops. I watched quickly some handball. I wasn't quite sure what was happening, but I was intrigued by what was happening. Swimming's on. You mentioned gymnastics. Rugby and table tennis is dominating social media. Every year, the shots in table tennis blow me away. And rugby is dominating. I'm here to learn why I should have been a part of rugby. I've convinced myself I have the body type, the physique, dare I even say the athleticism to have been a part of Team USA's rugby team. I am here for you to prove me wrong and for me to learn maybe all of the sport that I need to learn. Because I know none of that besides big guy can move.
All right. I'm going to put on my professor hat. All right. If you're on the audio side, just imagine I'm putting on a hat. I don't actually have a hat.
It's a beret because it's France in the Olympics. It's a big beret.
I forgot too. I forgot my blazer with the elbow patches. I need one of those.
Oh, I had one, but it was too large for me. Stitch Fix sent it to me. I said, I'm keeping this jacket because I like the look, but I didn't want to pay to get it tailored, so I sent it back.
Stitch Fit, come be a sponsor. So you have 3 types of rugby. All right, you got 7s, which are played in the Olympics, 10s, and 15s. 15s is the big stage with the 15 guys on each side. That's the World Cup. 7s is a series that tours around the world, including the United States. I would love to do it. Look, honorable mention for sports event bucket list. I want to go to Rugby 7s in Las Vegas. That looks like fun. They got Rugby 10s, which is 10 aside. Rugby 7s is what they play in the Olympics. It's 7-on-7, and it's separating to 2 7-minute halves, and you have to score as many points as possible against the other team in 14 minutes. That's what makes it so wild. They couldn't. I don't think it possibly do the 15 on 15 for a full 80 minutes. I played rugby. It's fun. You kick the crap out of each other for 80 minutes, and then you go out drinking.
Hell yes.
And it's true. And the saying is absolutely true what the British say. Rugby is a hooligan sport played by gentlemen. Soccer is a hooligan sport, or soccer is a gentleman sport played by hooligans. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And yes, I am a gentleman. Thank you for asking. But
an upstanding one.
Oh, that's right. Very much. But if you watch the highlights, I mean, if you're going to watch one highlight, check out Alex Cedric's trucking of an Australian defender to go all the way, basically from try line to try line. And again, FYI, scores in rugby are called tries; they're not called touchdowns. You're touching the ball down either on the try line or past the try line. So, I can see, guys, I can see you playing 15s, but maybe not 7s, because 7s you got to be both big. You got to be big and quick.
How about a younger me? How about 10 years ago?
A younger
college athlete football guys, like 21-year-old guys.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you could play. You could play probably either front. You'd probably play front row like I did. I played loose head prop, which is in the front row. I can see you playing lock because you're tall, and if we have to take the lineouts, where the hooker, yes, there's a position called hooker in 15 rugby, throws the ball from the side and from past the touch line into play to his lock. You're tall, so you can lift you up in the air to catch the ball, and you got those orangutan arms. You can catch the ball in the air, and we bring it down and for the maul. So yeah, 21-year-old guys could totally play it. And I know Dustin's nephew, he's going to school. He's already been recruited to play rugby.
He is. He's going to Springfield College, so he's been recruited by the rugby team. So hopefully I'll get out there a couple times next season, see him lay somebody out.
Yeah, he was asking me at his graduation party, "Hey, are you guys gonna cover my event?" I'm like, well, we'll see.
Springfield College in Mass.
Springfield College pride.
Can I tell you a quick story? It's very cool about the relationship. I have a quick Springfield story about, now that we're talking sports about Springfield. So I was fortunate enough to get recruited by Springfield to play football out there. They came to Salve High School. They did the whole recruiting pitch. I had a visit scheduled for Springfield. I took 4. This is how old I am. They had 4 official visits for D3. I had Hobart, St. John Fisher, St. Lawrence, and Springfield was my final one. So I saved Springfield for the end. And I wanted to go so bad because when they came and recruited me, they played John Cena's highlight film. So that was like the recruiting pitch. Is like, this is 2008, and this is like height of John Cena. So they come in with like the John Cena.
But you couldn't see him. But you couldn't see him.
Yes, like the whole thing. It's like Cena, and then they show his highlights. They're like Springfield College. It's a very jock school, as I'm sure they know. Like, it's so into sports. But I got recruited by Springfield. I saw the John Cena highlights. I was going to go for a visit, and then a sectional basketball game got snowed out, so I had to cancel, and then I went to Hobart. But, like, I love Springfield. I regret not visiting because of how cool a school it is and the connection to the GOAT, some would say, of pro wrestling history, John Cena, D3 athlete.
Oh, man. Just a whisper away.
That's it. A couple snowstorms away. Who would have known?
So, fun fact, John Cena now follows me on Twitter.
Oh, wow.
Oh, look at that.
I didn't know
that. Just you.
Too bad I can't see him.
That's a big name drop there.
Yeah. That's right. Watch your twos. I'm gonna drop some names. All right, Dustin, are you watching? I know you mentioned on Saturday you were watching a little bit of the Olympics. What are you watching?
All right, so far I have watched mostly the men's basketball. I've seen a little bit of the women's. I'm keeping an extra eye on the men's basketball because of our righteous felon beef jerky bet. I'm not going to lie here. So I've been watching the basketball a little bit, and I saw some of the women's basketball as well. I've been watching some of that. And then surprisingly, like Goz, I've watched a little bit of the swimming. I've missed diving. I usually like to check out diving. I got to get in on some of that. But an event that I did not think I would find myself watching was the men's pommel horse. And one Steven Nedorosik, I can't remember how it's pronounced. He's from like Massachusetts or something, and he's like a specialist. He was like one of these like lefty reliever specialists for the Yankees back in the day. They brought him to the Olympics for this event. Just this event. This is the whole reason he made the team. And they were building it up. The announcers did a great job of like building it up. They're like, this is the reason he's here. Hopefully he can like pull it out. But, you know, sometimes he gets a little wild on there with his technique. I was so nervous because I see this guy. He's got glasses on. He takes off the glasses before he goes on to the pommel horse. And he's like squinting as he's like making his way to the horse. I'm like, can this guy even see the horse? Like, what's going to happen? And then, of course, he crushed it. He did really, really well. So I found myself enraptured by the pommel horse. So those are the things that stick out to me so far.
There was some Olympian, I don't know if it was, I think it was from Slovakia, who pulled off the meme, the Peter Parker meme with the glasses and the squinting. Was that the guy you're talking about?
I don't know. It might have been. It might have been. If you look up Steven Nedorosik, he America's quirky glasses wearing pommel horse hero. That's one of the headlines I'm reading, and I guess it accurately describes him because he. I don't think he was trying to meme it up, Ryan. I was watching this. He couldn't see.
He has strabismus, which
he has strabismus.
Yes.
Fun fact, I also was born, well, a year into my life, my eyes crossed. I had strabismus. I did not wear the glasses to correct them. They did a surgery, and then that developed into alternating exotropia, and I had to have more corrective surgery. But you know what? I think, you know who else had strabismus? It was Matt Leinart, I believe, as well.
That's true. He did. Yeah.
Pulling it out of my mind here. But Ryan, I'm with Goz on this one. I'm getting there with Goz on this one.
Yeah.
You got to watch more Olympics. You got to watch more.
Okay. I'll watch more.
There's stuff out there. And don't you want to know the status of our bet, or are you so disheartened by the drubbing that you're receiving in the backstop challenge?
Well, Playmaker has chimed in. Thanks a lot, Playmaker. He says, "Hey Ryan, how you feeling now? 2-0. Dustin is in pole position on that bet so far. Hey Playmaker, it's only the preliminaries. All right, let's get to the wait till the medal rounds to see what kind of business we're in. And guys, we gotta educate you here. Dustin and I have a bet. So a few weeks ago on this program, on the Saturday brunch edition of the program, Dustin and another special guest, Kevin Wilson, Belly Up Fantasy Sports, we're trying to talk me down from the ledge, so to speak, about USA men's basketball, because I had the belief that it's very possible they may not medal this year for the first time ever.
What is the wager?
The wager is a box of Righteous Felon Craft jerky.
Okay. I'm sorry, I should have asked, but although the jerky is delicious, the wager is will medal or won't medal. That's
my feeling. My feeling is that they won't medal at all. Dustin, if they don't medal, I win the bet. I think if they medal,
no,
they do.
You wouldn't let me take if they medal. You said, which a stipulation which I accepted because I'm a man of honor. But because Kevin and I were both saying that they'll medal for sure. And you said, Dustin, for this bet, you win if they get the gold. And I said, fine, I'll do it for the show. So they've got to get the gold for me to be dining on craft jerky on your dime.
So what I will do then for both of you, and I will now almost, if you're watching the video side, I'm in the middle, so I will play the middle here. Ryan said they won't medal. Dustin said they'll go gold. I will now take silver and bronze. And if they go silver or bronze, I will take the jerky. And I think that's the fair thing to do to settle the bet in between. I will do that. That is my thank you to. So we're all in on this together. We're in it together, just like COVID when people said it from their mansions on their Zoom,
on their private, on their yachts, in the middle of Ibiza.
Here's what I feel like I'm going to take the middle road here again with the take on this bet, because you're both sort of right. Like if Ryan said in the history of the U.S. men's Olympic Games for men's basketball, there's never been the odds that they would not medal would be more in your favor. This is the Olympics. The countries have improved. Like, they're in a better spot. There's more competition. There's more pros. Like, if there's ever a time to do that wager, it'd probably be 2024 or 2028. Like, the world's catching up. So I understand Ryan's take. Dustin's take about Team USA winning. Like, they're still the best team. They've, until someone beats them. I know they lost in 2004, but people would say the 2004 roster wasn't where it should be. And they went bronze the year. I believe Argentina won in 2004.
Argentina won. They beat, I think they beat Greece in the gold medal game.
Yes.
And the United States lost for the first time ever in preliminaries. It got beat by Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Hey.
Here's the thing, though, like, about Team USA men's basketball. And I feel like we as Americans, gosh, I feel like I should be up on a podium now. We as Americans need to understand this as we get closer to election season. So, like, we have to pick one or the other. Like, today, when you're listening to this, they beat South Sudan, but there was a comparison during the game. Like, if you've lost your Thursday night bet on NFL, are you already losing in the week? If it's 1:00 in the morning and you're wagering on Hawaii, have you already lost? If you're running a full court, if
Yes,
you're running a
you
full,
have.
right, you have, right? If you're running the full court press 5 minutes into the matchup with South Sudan, have you already lost? Like, Team USA won by 20, but if you run the full court press, maybe you're not as good. Like, that's the expectation. But you get to pick one or the other. Either Team USA needs to not just win but dominate, which is what a lot of American sports fans believe Team USA should always be since 92. You can get that lane, which is fine. But you have to also take this lane, that if Team USA loses at any point, France, South Sudan, Poland, doesn't matter the country, we have to call it the greatest upset in the history of the Olympics because, wait. You said every team should win by 30. Yeah, but we lost. Yeah? Well, that means it's the greatest upset ever. Like, we don't want the second one. I think it's hard for younger sports fans, and the Miracle on Ice take I have is maybe for today's show, maybe for another day. Like, I think it's hard for a lot of young sports fans to even understand the concept of the United States of America being the underdog in any sport ever. Like, because of what we are as a country. And I feel like
have one.
Oh gosh,
I have one. Cricket.
They beat them. Didn't they beat them?
No, well, in the World T20 World Cup, it was jointly hosted, and I'm sorry, my sports nerd's coming out. Jointly hosted by
Push up the glasses.
excuse me, my sports nerd's coming out. Again, Professor Ryan's back at work. Get the elbow patches. We jointly hosted the T20 World Cup, which is the Cricket World Cup for T20. It was jointly hosted with the West Indies, so it's like Barbados, Jamaica, and all the countries in the Caribbean. A bunch of countries in the Caribbean. We beat Pakistan, which is an amazing upset because Pakistan is regarded as one of the best cricket nations in the world. We move on to the knockout stage and we lose to South Africa, and I believe South Africa won the tournament this year. But basically it's a bunch of dudes who work at Oracle who played. No, not one of them played professionally. I think maybe one guy played professionally for a team in the world, and like the team captain was a software engineer at Oracle who played just played on his off time.
Yeah, recreationally.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's that comparison. Like, letting people know that there are instances where the United States is a huge underdog. That was one of them. We wound up beating Pakistan in front of and Dallas, of all places. Dallas.
It's Jerry's world down there.
A Jerry's world.
Say cricket world.
I'll carve out some time during our off time, since we're not going to be on again until the 19th of August. I'll make sure I watch something Olympic related. I did watch the highlights from USA Australia, the bronze medal game from the women's rugby. First time in 100 years the United States has medaled in rugby. Congratulations. That's awesome. But I gotta find some sport of interest that I gotta pique my interest. I know the 3-on-3, and our guy Playmaker noted that both the men's and women's teams are 0-2 so far in preliminary play, which is a dang shame.
Oh man, come on, Jimmer. Jimmer for
Come on,
debt.
Jimmer.
Nothing but net.
Come on, Jimmer.
But I gotta find a sport that's getting towards the end that's really gotta pique my interest. And but I'm really looking forward to 2028 because it's gonna be in the United States, gonna be in Los Angeles, but it's also gonna feature flag football and lacrosse, which is pretty cool. So
I know you're a big lacrosse fan, yeah. And I will say this, Ryan. I will say this. I am looking forward to 2026 because 2026 are the Winter Olympics, which, guys, I got to get your take on this. To me, the Winter Olympics, better events. I prefer the Winter Olympics overall.
Ooh. Are you personally a snowboarder? Someone who engages in even more interesting here.
I just think for whatever reason, I love watching luge, bobsled. I like watching the Super G. I like watching the even the moguls. I'll get down and I'll be mystified at how their knees don't explode out of their bodies. There's just more there for me. I don't know why. To me, there's just more. And I don't follow it anymore, but figure skating was big in my dad's house growing up because his wife, massive skating fan. And when you're a kid, you don't always have a say of what's on TV, but I have early 90s skating knowledge. I got it. Do I remember Victor Petranko? Yes. Scott Hamilton? Yes. Christy Yamaguchi, Oksana Bayul, Tanya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan. Everybody knows them, but man, Katarina Witt was still going. I've got it. It's stuck up there.
Katarina Witt, swoon.
I gotta say, okay, I am mesmerized by this Winter Olympic thing because there's two things that jump out to me about this. Now, learning a little bit more about the history of it. One, I didn't want this to be anti-American, but Winter Olympics usually, again, American sports fans, how often do they realize this? Usually, I believe it's Norway and Sweden are usually the top two medaling countries when we do the Winter Olympics. Like,
yeah,
right.
Like those people are on countries forever.
Yeah. So like those countries really dominate the Winter Olympics in comparison to other countries, which I think, again, American sports fans would be surprised. Usually medal counts for summer. It's between traditionally China, the US, USSR / Russia, and whatever Russia's up to now. They're not even in it basically anymore. But I wonder,
athletes.
Thank you, independent athletes. Thank you. They're like the independent college football teams. They're the UConn and Notre Dame of athletes. They come out with just white and black. They're like
Commonwealth of Independent States.
Yes. I wonder though, Dustin, if it's that young memory. Like we actually talked about this the other day on the air. Like there's certain memories that you just have as a kid, and because you have that emotional connection to the Winter Olympics, that might just be why I would lean towards summer. I also, this is probably an underrated thing that's happened in the history of sports. Who is the person or persons or board member that was smart enough to do the every 2 years? Because I love that. Yeah. Like the fact that there was a time in history that we did double Olympics. So whoever was the person who said, let's do every other year to have their own smart. I think that didn't happen to the early 90s
that
either.
Started after the 92 Olympics. Because 92 was in Albertville, France.
Yes.
And Barcelona. And then 94 went to Lillehammer. And then Atlanta, Nagano, Sydney, Salt Lake City. And Salt Lake City's getting it back. Athens, Torino, Beijing.
Yes.
Yep.
2010 was Pyongyang. Pyeongchang. Sorry.
Oh,
no, it was Pyongyang.
Pyeongchang. 2012. I'm trying to remember 2012.
Oh man, you went so far already.
Come on.
2012 was it in Rio?
Yes.
Rio.
No, 2016 was Rio.
Sorry, 2016 was Rio. 2012 was it in a European London.
Cheerio, well done, mate.
2014 was Beijing. No, 2014 was Sochi. 2018 was Beijing. 2020/2021 was Tokyo. 2022. Oh gosh, 2022.
This is the hardest one.
This was the most recent too.
That's the tough part, though. Let's see. I gotta do some real time.
I want to say Beijing again.
Ryan, I'm going to reveal to you that you are correct. It was Beijing again.
Wow.
Because remember, people got up in arms as soon as you said that. I was like, "That's right."
Yeah, because
people
they made the artificial mountain, the artificial ski slopes.
Yeah.
That's right. And and they had the ski jumps next to a. I'm sorry. They had the ski jumps next to like smokestacks.
Yeah.
Why that's the hardest one to get? Very impressive. You nailed the last 30 years of that, 30 plus years.
Yeah, I could not do that.
The reason that one's so tough. Yes, because as you mentioned, the Beijing thing, because it's used multiple times. But remember, Qatar's in that same mix for the World Cup.
Yeah, so that was 2 years ago. Yeah,
exactly, and it's the same time
in November. And in November,
yes, that's exactly it. Where a lot of the controversy around Beijing is around Qatar. Same thing, artificial seasons, wrong time
zones, slave,
everything that matches Qatar matches Beijing for that. Yeah,
basically people working for slave wages to build the infrastructure. Yeah, I remember all that. Yeah.
And then my favorite Winter Olympic memory is Bob Costas getting pink eye in Sochi. No, but I think you might be onto something, guys. I have an emotional connection to the Winter Olympics. It's what I remember more because it's probably my dad gravitated it towards it more because he and his wife skiers, they do all that stuff, and she was actually at the 1980 Olympics in Placid as like a guide, one of the people that hand out water and stuff. She volunteered, she helped there, so I kind of grew up around it. But I think the other thing might be is that we are typically underdogs in the Winter Olympics, and I like rooting for the underdog, speed skating or whatever. I just feel like there's more events that grab my attention for the Winter Olympics, but I'm always down for the Olympics. I'm in. I'm going to watch more.
Yeah. And
Ryan, I don't mean to do this. I know this is your guys' show, so I feel bad morphing into my radio host mood here, but
power through it.
Can I give my Miracle on Ice take to poor Dustin? Have you guys already heard me babble on about this or no? Have you heard this take?
Maybe.
I don't think I have.
Maybe I have. I don't know. Maybe because you're so. I'm in a generation where I didn't watch the Miracle on Ice, but I remember seeing clips of it in the 1984 games from the 1980 games. So that's why I remember that. Dustin. Neither of you were born. God,
no, I was not. I was not.
I've toned down my take from the last couple of years. At one point, I was trying to call it overrated. It's not overrated. It's not. Mm-hmm. What is happening, unfortunately, with the Miracle on Ice is it's aging poorly. Like that's the best way I can describe Miracle on Ice because it's a very hard sporting event. Like my boys are still up in the other room. One's 4 and one's a year and a half. Explaining this one to them, they won't understand how important it was because sports has changed so much in 40 years. So like overrated's too strong, but aging poorly is the way to be a little bit more gentle. Because like think about if you're trying to explain it to somebody like, okay, the year was 1980 and Team USA was an underdog. In what? In hockey. Wait, they were an underdog? Okay, yeah. To the USSR. Wait, what's that? Well, that was a country. Wait, it doesn't exist anymore. Okay. Oh, hang on. Let me get through this here. Everybody was watching, but it was on tape delay. Why was it on tape delay? Why didn't you just stream it? Okay, wait a second. Let me get to this game first. Hang on. It was on tape delay, and the Soviets were stacked. Well, how many NHL players did they have? Or they didn't have any. What do you mean they didn't have any? Wait, nobody on the team played in the NHL? No. Well, why didn't they play in the NHL? Hang on. Let me get to the game first. We're asking really good questions. And then the game starts and it's like, and Team USA defeated the USSR. That's awesome. They won the gold medal? Well, no, they didn't win the gold. Okay. You're like, explaining this to somebody is really hard in 2024. So it's a great moment. But like, that's 7 off the top before we even got to the game of how hard that is. So the Miracle on Ice is great, but gosh, this isn't aging well.
I will also say the movie Miracle was made too soon.
Ooh.
Yeah, because when was it? Was it 2004?
2002, I believe it was released.
Okay. All right. So somewhere in that pocket. Well, I have to say,
2000, you're right, 2004. Sorry.
oh,
My bad.
nice. Okay. I got a savant moment going. But so I have to say that I kind of agree with you. I feel like, and I don't think it has the impact for any of us because we weren't there. You know, a lot of people remember it because they watched it on TV because it was in Lake Placid, but it was on tape delay. The whole thing. But the other thing, and Ryan knows this. Ryan knows once I start saying it, he knows where I'm going to take this. I have a grudge against Mike Eruzione because he's made it his entire identity. Like it's like, come on. And then it's just like when, and I don't want to hear people come out of the woodwork and talk to me about the 72 Dolphins. It is the worst when all those fossils come out every time that a team loses. They come out and they celebrate. And who are the two guaranteed interviews? You know, you're probably going to get Larry Zonka, and the other one is Mercury Morris, because if he sees a camera lens, he's right there. He's like, what? 72 Dolphins? What? That's right. That's right. I was on the team. We were the best team. Like the Miracle on Ice, certain players, Mike Eruzione, come off like Mercury Morris to me. So I'm just like, come on. Like, I get you did an amazing thing, but it's your whole identity.
Yeah, I'll say the last word in the Olympics in regards to ice hockey. Then we'll go to a quick break and we'll go to comments because we got a lot of comments coming in.
Yeah, we got an active comment section tonight.
This generation, like my generation, we had the Miracle on Ice, right? Gen X, Xennials, we had the Miracle on Ice. Millennials, Gen Z, Alpha, whatever they want to call themselves, they haven't had their Miracle on Ice moment. We haven't won a gold medal since 1980. Came close in 2002 in Salt Lake City. Came very close in 2010 in Vancouver. Could have beaten the Sidney Crosby. Still gives me nightmares.
Yeah, that was a great game though. That was, I remember.
Zach Parise tying the game with less than a second, almost a second left in the game, and then Crosby putting it past Ryan Miller. Still breaks my heart. But this generation doesn't have a Miracle on Ice. They haven't seen a United States. They've seen United States women's hockey win 2 gold medals. They won the gold medal in 2022. The Star Spangled Dangle, which was one of the greatest shootout goals in history. Not just men's, but also women's.
Mm-hmm.
The girls that are grown up playing hockey. They've seen the women's team win gold medals. Men's not so much. And I hate that we had to bring up the NHL to try to do that. I mean, that's how the Canadians won their goal. They broke their streak that way. I think eventually we're going to have it. And we've got a generation of players who grew up playing hockey in places like California and Arizona and Florida who are going to go on these teams. I mean,
soon
the Hughes,
Utah.
all three Hughes brothers, soon to be Utah. All 3 Hughes brothers, Luke, Quinn, and
Hugh Hughes.
Jack Hughes.
Jack. I said Jack, and then you like just kind of looked at me, and I'm like, I guess I was wrong.
I thought you said Zach. No, it's Jack. And 2 of those play for my Devils. They're going to represent the team in 2026 in Milan. So I'm hoping for a gold medal with the USA. But hey, everybody's got a strong team. So Canada always going to have a strong team. Sweden's always going to have a strong team. Finland's got like a bunch of guys who are dogs. You got that dog in them. Wait, I gotta play it. I gotta play that. I gotta play it. They got these. Finland's got these in them.
Dog. He's a dog. Dog. Man. Dog.
Finland's got those guys. All right.
You still got to find a way to use that clip I sent you.
All right. Man. We got to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll read your comments. We'll talk quickly. I had to call an audible for one of our categories because we're unsure on time, and B, came across the wire. it came across the wire while I was putting up together the show. So we got to talk about it. But we're right back. You're tuned in to No Credentials Required.
Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of Belly Up Sports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at righteousfelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon jerky.
That's right, folks. The official craft jerky of our Olympic basketball bet is Righteous Felon Craft Jerky. Look, I'm short stocked myself. I gotta order some more. But if you're looking for a high protein, low carb snack, if you're trying to drop the lbs, nice little pick me up for some fuel to go throughout your day. Get yourself some Righteous Felon Craft Jerky. Ships to your door quickly. It's handcrafted. You get a variety of flavors. Not only get the jerky, you get beef jerky. You got turkey jerky. Tastes like turkey dinner. You also get the beef sticks, which are made from 100% beef. Not like those other crap in the other junk in the convenience stores, whose primary ingredient, pulverized chicken.
They can't do the Macho Man like that.
Can't do the Macho Man or LA Knight like that, man. Yeah. Go to righteousfelon.com. Enter promo code BELLYUP at checkout. You have 15% off your order. Not only that, if you make an order of $50 or more, you can combine the promo code and you get free shipping. So it's a great deal for some craft jerky, as well as some other items. Go to righteousfelon.com. Again, promo code BELLYUP at checkout, 15% off your order. And every order of $50 or more, you get free shipping. All right. So originally I was going to talk about the baseball trade deadline. I was going to roast Goz about how he still thinks, even though the Yankees swept the Philadelphia Phillies are still the best team in baseball. We're not going to do that. We're talking about Bill Belichick getting his own football show on Underdog Fantasy. Just came out today from Underdog. This news was released about 11 o'clock this morning. They are partnering with Bill Belichick on the next step of his career. He's living his best life. He's not going to have a show on Underdog Fantasy. And I want to get your point of view on this, guys. Is Bill Belichick really living his best life right now? Because he's going to be on McAfee. He's got his own show on Underdog Fantasy. And he's got a really nice, okay. Oh, all right. I'll say it bluntly. He's got a hot girlfriend.
Bill, yes, he does. A very attractive young female in her mid-20s. To your question, Bill Belichick is living his best life. It's odd, though, a little bit, like a guy who is so well known in his career for not being friendly to the media is now a media darling. I'm just going to chalk it up to you've got an all-time great coach. You are media companies are looking to create content. You start with the best. Like sometimes we just have to accept that, like Fox and Major League Baseball does this. They have a crew of David Ortiz, Derek Jeter, and Alex Rodriguez. No one's going to break down how great of a broadcaster they are. It's going to be like, we've got Poppy, A-Rod, and Jeter. You have the captain. Like people want to hear what they have to say because of who they are.
Yeah.
And
until next season, until the end of next season, the NBA, inside the NBA on TNT, which is unfortunately going to be.
Yeah. Like, look, sometimes people just tune in for personalities, right? Like on Fox, we had Pete Rose. Remember crazy Pete Rose? Like the camera was facing the wrong way. Didn't know when he's going to commercial. Like sometimes you just do it. The only thing I feel bad about for Bill Belichick shows is I wish I could have seen the timeline. You know how we earlier in the episode talked about Hard Knocks, and I wish I could have seen this come together. I would have loved to like the Pat McAfee show. Like, hey, we're going to have Bill Belichick on weekly, and how excited they were. And then all of a sudden they found out he's doing Inside the NFL. And it's like, hey, the hell? I thought we had the Belichick scoop. And then Belichick goes on Underdog. It's like, hey, what the? And I think there's a fourth one. I think he's doing 4 media hits or tours. So it's like, his agent, good for him. God bless me. He's getting his client out there. But you got to be kind of, I would think, jealous, maybe pissed. I don't know, whatever way you want to phrase it. Be like, hey,
yeah,
I thought you were just with us. Oh, do you not want me anymore? I didn't say that. I just didn't know you were going to be.
So there's 4 shows. You're going to be on Pat McAfee. He'll be on the Manning Cast. He'll be on Inside the NFL, and now Coach with Bill Belichick on Underdog Fantasy.
Man. To me,
I think he's enjoying retirement. Dustin, go ahead. Go ahead. I want to get your point of view on this.
Yeah, and I'll be quick on this because I'm always the one going long a lot of the times. But I feel like to me, I'm going to tune in. I'm going to watch because I want to see. Because I remember watching, like, you watch documentaries and things that have come out about Belichick before, and people are like, oh, he doesn't show his real personality. Like, Bill's actually a really funny guy. He's a real nice guy. Like, he just doesn't show you his personality. Well, now are we finally going to get to see a version of the real Bill Belichick? And I thought that he was like helping his son out at Washington, at the University of Washington. I thought he was like, going to be helping his son out. So I'm with Goz. It's shocking given his downright antagonistic relationship with the media. And he's coached a bunch of guys, pun intended. He's coached like Nick Saban handles it the same way. All his Belichick proteges, they all do the same thing with the media. He's diving headfirst in. I mean, I'm going to tune in, but I'm kind of like, man, what an about face. What an about face. But he's getting his money, can't fault him. And there are somebody, I forget who it was. I can't remember if it was Kyle Shanahan or another NFL coach. I know Shanahan offered him a position on the 49ers staff, but you knew he wasn't going to take that.
It was Kyle Shanahan,
Belichick wants absolute control. I think Belichick is just enjoying it right now, but I think he's gonna go back to football next year if any team will have him. I think he will go back. He'll at least interview. He'll take the temperature, because are you going to tell me that if the Cowboys epically collapse this year, that Jerry Jones won't at least try to go interview Bill Belichick if they fire Mike McCarthy? No relation.
No relation. I'm going to actually push back on your point there, Dustin.
Oh,
because I think he's now involved. He's seen the other side, because you mentioned the contentious relationship he's had with media, especially New England and Boston area sports media over the past 20 years. He's going to see the flip side of it. He's going to be on 4 programs, as I mentioned. You're going to see him on Pat McAfee. He's going to have a weekly spot with them, like Aaron Rodgers already does. Although I don't know if he's doing that anymore. Haven't really tuned into Pat McAfee lately. Sorry. He'll be on Inside the NFL. That's a weekly hit. He'll be on the Manning Cast, which he was on first spot last year.
Yeah.
Doing some stuff, clowning around with the Manning brothers. And now he's got his own show with Underdog Fantasy, and Underdog Fantasy is doing the whole thing with, like, FanDuel is trying to dive into the sports media, sports media landscape. And they bring in a big name like Bill Belichick, who can, show off his personality a little bit. He's not the hoodie. He's not the hoodie. We kind of saw glimpses of his humanity during the 2020 draft when everybody was drafting at home. You saw his dog Nike up on screen. I don't know if Nike's still around. Hopefully he's still with us. But you saw little glimpses of his humanity, and now you see him everywhere with his very attractive girlfriend talking about logic and other nerdy things that somehow came up in conversation during their initial meeting on that flight where they met. But I think you're going to see a different side of Belichick, and I think he's going to enjoy him. I think he's going to enjoy himself. And I know, but you got to also remember he's in his 70s now.
Yeah,
he's in his 70s. Like I'm rapidly approaching my late 40s here as we speak. I got to think about my future. And when you're past a certain point where you're going, okay, I got to rethink about what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Maybe coaching's not it for now. I mean, I love football. I love the game. Always loved it. Always loved coaching. But maybe this whole this media thing is going to be kind of cool. And yeah, I'm going to be offered a boatload of money to give my perspective as an 8-time Super Bowl winning coach. Don't forget, he was DC with the Giants in 87 and 91. So, this is a guy who's going to be, he's going to be in demand. He's already in demand. People are going to throw money at him to get his perspective, and he's going to be like, yeah, this is great. I'm getting paid a whole bunch of money to get my perspective. I don't have to sleep on my couch 6 nights out of the week for X amount of months until February. This is great. I love it. So maybe he'll adapt to it.
Maybe. And I do have a crazy take that I'll get both of your takes on, gentlemen, before we end things here, because you got my gears turning, Ryan. Is Belichick playing 4D chess? Is the whole reason he's doing this? Because the consensus is, I think most would agree, that Brady won the Brady-Belichick divorce, right? Brady got his Super Bowl with the Bucs. Belichick didn't work out so well for him. Did Belichick see the contract that Tom got with Fox to announce NFL games and be the color on some NFL games? And did Belichick say, let me see what I can get? Is that what you can get, Tom? I'll show you. I'll show you. He's trying to take back a victory in the divorce.
I would lean towards no, although gosh, I love a good drama-filled story. I'm just going to add a little bit to your point there, like of the Brady Belichick thing. This has to be put in perspective how crazy this is, where it's like, not only did Brady win the Brady Belichick thing, and we all know there's so many variables in the Buccaneer roster and what went into that and pro sport, but like to think that Tom Brady is somewhere smoking a cigar potentially said, oh, you thought you could win without me. Not only could you not win without me, you couldn't get a job without me. This is like if you're married to somebody and they can't find a date, not get married, not get engaged, no one will date them. Like Brady not just won, he ran away from it and he could smoke the cigar and say, no one would hire you. And you could spin it however you want, Bill. I'm not doing 4 shows like you are to try to get a gig again. And he puffs out the smoke. Like, yeah, I don't even know if it's over. I do like the drama idea, but I feel like the Brady Belichick thing still's got a little bit of smoke left in that rivalry.
And we got a little glimpse into my dating life. Thanks, guys.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Well, last topic of the night. Actually, I forgot to go into the comments. I was going to say sorry. Let's talk some comments. Dr. Lady, who hasn't been here in a while, she's still watching. Says sports ball, and Jersey G, who I have a current rivalry with. I still say it's Taylor Ham. She says it's Taylor Pork Roll. We're both.
She's provided compelling evidence, Ryan.
She has provided compelling evidence, but I don't care. It's Taylor Ham. Even Sauce Gardner calls it Taylor Ham. He knows to call it correctly. So she says, "Good evening, fellow sports ball fans." Playmaker saying, "Good evening, folks." Dr. Lady saying, "Clayton Kershaw," and Gaz's take on him is interesting.
And I do have to ask Dr. Lady real quick, if you reply in the comments, you got another pitcher who's had back problems now. Flaherty is now on the Dodgers, which reportedly the Yankees backed out of a potential trade due to medical reasons. How do you feel about it?
Yeah. So Dr. Lady, she is watching. She did say, "Don't you forget about us, Ryan." I did not forget about you. Drew Willingham joining us from the DMV saying, "What's up, fellas?" And he says, "Wow." So it's funny we mentioned the Washington Commandskins. Yes, I combined the name Commanders and Redskins to create the Commandskins team. He covers he does the Commanders Pigskin Report, or which program he does, but he's a big Commanders fan, and I was hoping he'd stick around because I know he's working right now. I wanted to see if he would get his perspective about whether or not the Commanders should be featured on Hard Knocks, whether it be preseason, off season, or in season in the foreseeable future. All right, let's see who else. Dustin giving us the straw business regarding Strabismus.
Yes, our off the cup Strabismus discussion.
Playmakers telling me to get on Peacock and watch Gold Zone. Yes, Scott Hansen, the greatest of all broadcasters. He recommends I watch Gold Zone, which I guess is from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Oh wow!
And I think I saw something about Scott Hansen cut his hand pounding on the desk, rooting for USA Swimming for gold medal.
He's a real American, Ryan.
That's right. He's cutting himself for the country.
Unlike me, who is just sitting here and wondering when Goodyear is going to come back on my television.
Yeah. You watched highlights of women's rugby. You're putting in that effort to be an American. We heard it earlier.
I'm trying. Got to break out the Rick Derringer soon. Jersey Cheese things. I don't know who that person you mentioned is, Ryan, but they're also wrong about pork roll. So it's the infinite war of New Jersey. Taylor ham versus Taylor pork roll. Dr. Lady says Flaherty will help us get into the postseason where we will promptly lose in the NLDS, and then I believe he's a free agent. So no change to our regular schedule at all.
All right. Coming off
right.
the top rep. Coming off the
top rope.
On her
top
own
rope,
team.
Dr. Lady.
On one of the teams.
That's right. From one of our LA teams. All right. Last topic. We'll go into it quickly. I was perusing LinkedIn yesterday and happened to come across this post. The Utah Hockey Club is looking for their first play-by-play television analyst. I applied.
So that's awesome.
Go me.
We gotta start a campaign. We gotta tweet at whoever to get this man hired. But then I don't know what that means for this show. You'd have to do it, you'd have to do it from the road.
That's a great question. That's a great question. I posted out on social media last night. I'm like, yeah, let's go for it. And I already got somebody who DM'd me a question. I think it was Mickey, who's usually commenting in the Drew's show. He's asking me about it. It's like, what about your show? I'm like, I don't know. Can I get an interview first? And I've already got some catchphrases. All right.
Oh,
wait. I've already got some catchphrases for the Utah Hockey Club because I saw the post and I'm like, I can do this. I don't have much play-by-play experience. I do my alternative play-by-plays here, no credentials required. Every so often, maybe during our break, I might chime in with it. I might come off the top rope with a play-by-play.
All right.
See. Don't know which sport it's going to be, whether it be Major League Baseball, maybe some preseason NFL football, maybe some regular season CFL. I don't know. We'll see. But
I'll keep my ear out for that one.
I've already got some catchphrases for the Utah Hockey Club, and they are as follows. So, before opening face-off, my catchphrase would be, Little Hand says, it's time to rock and roll.
Yes.
If you know where I'm going with this. After the Utah Hockey Club, currently they're unnamed, but after the Utah Hockey Club scores their first goal, I want to yell, Utah, get me 2.
Yes.
After someone gets a game misconduct, he's not coming back.
Oh God.
You might cause some waves with this if a certain studios or directors, figure something out.
All right.
Utah out of here. On that one in.
My next catchphrase. Commenting on a turnover that leads to a goal. Lose something, brah?
You know what? That's my favorite one so far.
After a rookie scores his first goal. Cut my first tube today, sir.
Oh, man.
No. It's a hard no on that one for me.
Hold on. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. My sign off before the ending of every broadcast. My sign off. Yo, Johnny, I'll see you in the next life.
We had some good, we had some bad, we had some awful.
So Dustin, I think Dustin knows where I'm going here. But guys, do you know what these catchphrases are from?
They're all from a very famous movie from the 1980s.
Close on the decade. Yes, it's from a very famous movie, but it's not from the 1980s. It's from the 1990s, which was unfortunately some schmuck in Hollywood decided to remake it Point Break.
Yes, it was remade.
And the lead character's name, played by Keanu Reeves, was Johnny Utah.
Johnny Utah.
Utah, from quarterback of Ohio State University.
Not one of the worst fake names in movies. For that,
No, I'm sorry, he was a wide receiver. He was a wide receiver. Sorry.
For that,
quarterback. He was a quarterback in the replacements.
That's Shane Falco. Yeah,
that's Shane Falco. Yes.
Yeah.
I like to see Shane Falco throw to Johnny Utah.
He also later on coached, I believe, the Cucumbas in a local little league as he chased down gambling debts in 2002 movie Hardball. I think it's all the same person.
He also rode a bike in Quicksilver.
Yes.
and was featured in a Coca-Cola commercial in Canada.
He's doing
But yeah, Utah Hockey Club, give a guy a shot. I mean, if JJ Redick can be a podcaster and get a job as a head coach as Los Angeles Lakers, a podcaster can get a job as a play-by-play for a National Hockey League team. And I take this very seriously, too. I mean, I did write a cover letter, did include my resume, mentioned the relationships I can build.
You know, and it maybe include a sample of some of your, alternative play-by-plays.
I did include the link, the YouTube links in and I have put together the playlist for the alternative play-by-play. So in addition to our no ticket required movie series. So
there we go.
So I've included the links in my resume.
Let me throw this out.
Don't let them see my rant. Don't let them see my rant about Kyrie Irving, though. That would hurt your chances. I've already had to apologize.
And how Luka Doncic lost his smile.
Yes.
I'll throw this idea out here because I don't know a lot about the region of Utah, but I'm going off assumptions and stereotypes here. Think about this. Spanish broadcaster. Don't know what the type of competition would be for you in Utah. Hola, me llamo Ryan. Think about it.
It's a good angle.
Bienvenidos Utah Hockey Club. Broadcast.
Whoa, what was that? Dude.
See?
I know absolutely no Spanish. I took French in high school, and I'm currently taking Japanese. But yeah, I can pull it off.
Think about all the Spanish-speaking hockey fans in Utah that are missing out on that broadcast, though, if you don't do it.
It's true.
It's true. And also, it's not wrestling, so the Spanish announce table would be safe.
Right.
That's true. I'll be up in the booth.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yes, a stubbornucker. Kerfuffle. What's Spanish for kerfuffle? I don't know.
El kerfuffle.
Oh, Dr. Jersey G saying 480,843 Hispanic population in Utah as of 2022. So, hey, new audience.
Oh, yeah. That's some real-time research as well. That's
there you
impressive.
go. Jersey G providing us with the real-time research.
Muy bien.
Mm-hmm. That is accurate.
Mucho bueno. Dr. Lady chiming in saying, Ryan, get Cena to give you a recommendation on LinkedIn. You'd be a shoo-in. And she also says 90s Point Break is being riffed on Riff Tracks live this year. Interesting.
Yeah, it could be funny.
It could be funny. The Riff Tracks, that's the Mystery Science Theater kind of, isn't it?
Yeah, same type deal. Yep.
Gotcha. All right, we gotta get out of here. But before we do that, guys, give me the floor. Where can people find you? Where can people find your shoe?
Adios, amigos. Me amo. Oh, we gotta do it in English. Okay. We're back in Gaz weekdays 3 to 6.
Levaco El Gazo.
I'm the voice of the Capital Region Sports Fan. Apple, Spotify, the iHeart app. Go back and listen to old Getting There with Gaz episodes. Why not? I'll appreciate the downloads.
Hey.
At Tom Gaz, TOMGOZZ on Twitter. Leave all your messages, and I appreciate you guys as always having me on the show.
Yeah, come back. We'll have to have you back during the football season for sure.
As long as you pay me. Thank you for that Venmo talent fee,
yes,
by the way.
your podcast fee of 69 cents will be earmarked for next time.
That's 6.9 pesos for those following in Utah to tonight's podcast.
We've already allocated it in the budget.
Oh,
I've also had to get rid of. I tried to get. I to dispose of all my Book of Mormon jokes and songs for the interview. So, because I guess the owner of the team is part of the LDS church. So I had to,
okay, all right,
yeah.
yep.
So
You're gonna have to.
I can't show up at his door saying, "Hello, my name is Eldon McCarthy, and I would like to talk to you about this amazing book."
Is that worth a watch?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely, it is. I've seen it twice.
As have I.
I'm doing it right now. I'm leaving this show right now to watch the Book of Mormon. I'll send out a tweet at 1 a.m.
Next time it comes to town, definitely find a babysitter and go see it with the missus. That's for sure. You'll laugh the entire show.
Goodbye, guys.
All right. Before we get out of here, check us out on Twitter, Instagram, and on the Scarcely Used TikTok at NoCardsREQ, Facebook.com/NoCardsREQ, YouTube.com/@NoCardsREQ. Oh, I should get this business out of the way. So we will be off for the next 2 weeks. We're getting charged up for the NFL season. We'll be back on Monday, August 19th, at the regular time of 8:05 Eastern. I'm going to try to work on bringing on a guest for what will be the recording of our 200th episode of No Credentials Required. So we'll let you know on the socials, which are right down here below. Twitter, Instagram, the Scarcely Used TikTok at NoCardsREQ, Facebook.com/NoCardsREQ, YouTube.com/@NoCardsREQ on the podcast side. Subscribe on whichever podcast platform you listen on. Rate and review. 5-star rating would be preferred. If you are on a platform where you can review the podcast, we might even read it on the air. Thank you for tuning in to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We're proudly presented by the Belly Up Sports Media Network. For Dustin Kobe Henry, I'm Ryan Aloysius McCarthy. And we'll talk to you again. We'll be back here on Monday, August 19th, as we start the next season of No Credentials Required, as we lead into the 2024 NFL season. Got some pretty cool things coming down the pipe. We can't wait to bring them to you. But we're going to take this break, get charged up, and we'll be back Monday, August 19th. So until then, we'll talk to you soon.
Good night, everybody.
Go Utah!